In early April, many clips of a long-cancelled Batman game based off of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight films resurfaced after a Twitter user dug them up. I wanted to take a closer look at these clips and give you some background on this project, since the Batman Arkham trilogy is one of my all-time favorite game series. And this cancelled project would have been a really interesting counterpart to those Batman video games throughout the 2010s. Did You Know Gaming made a really great video about this cancelled Batman game a few years back, but I don't think any of these clips had been leaked online at this time. So now between their research and these clips, we can get a much better picture of how this project was shaping up. Pretty much with the success of Batman Begins, it sounds like Warner Brothers was all in on making Batman games. Of course, we got Arkham Asylum in 2009, but around the same time, Pandemic was also working on a Dark Knight game. Before that project was shut down by EA in 2008, and then Monolith Productions was working on Project Apollo, which didn't really have a particular Nolan film directly attached, but it was set in the universe and maybe would have lined up with Dark Knight Rises had things panned out, though that is pure speculation. Project Apollo was built from Monolith's in-house engine at the time called Lithtech Jupiter EX that they used to create Fear 2 and some of the entries in the Condemned series, and despite being worked on from around 2009 to 2011, the project never really took off for one main reason. They needed Christopher Nolan's green light to properly enter production. Christopher Nolan had previously given the go-ahead on a Batman Begins game in 2005, which even had voice work from the key actors like Christian Bale, Michael Caine, and Liam Neeson. But while there is no specific or definitive answer why Monolith didn't get a green light, the leading theory is that because of the Batman Begins video game's mediocre reception and general lack of interest in the games industry himself, Christopher Nolan never gave Monolith the official green light they needed. Pandemic's Dark Knight game, on the other hand, was most likely cancelled because of the rocky development timeline not working out to launch with the film, but I didn't find any info about Christopher Nolan's actual input on that project. In a lot of ways, it sounds like they wanted to make a game similar to what Arkham Knight turned out to be a few years later. Taking a look more closely at the leaked gameplay and screenshots, we can see a few of the gadgets, a lot of the planned mission types, and a bit about the upgrade tree and the skills available. We also get a look at some of the combat through these upgrade demo videos, and then there's also some stealth gameplay towards the end of the video clips. It all looks very familiar and similar to the Arkham series again, but what jumps out to me is how fleshed out the UI and the overall style of these graphics are. Like, they were pretty deep into nailing down the style and aesthetics of the film and traversing the game world, and honestly looks pretty great. And it's really just a big shame that all this work was scrapped, as well as all the stuff on Pandemic's Dark Knight game. By the time the Dark Knight Rises film came and went, and Arkham City launched and cemented the Arkham series as an all-time franchise, I think it was safe to say that Project Apollo could be put to rest. Oddly enough, there was actually an official Dark Knight Rises game for phones from Gameloft, so who knows why Monolith struggled to get approval when Pandemic and Gameloft were able to develop games without any supposed licensing issues. Maybe one day we'll find out if a former developer puts out more details on these projects. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And let me know down below which of these projects sounded more interesting, Pandemic's or Monolith's Batman project.